Hello Cancer, Cancer Rising and Cancer Moon people. This is your weekly astrological and card horoscope for the week starting March 20th, 2017. And stay tuned guys, I'm going to be putting up a video soon on why do astrologers ask for your rising sign and how you can find it, and just getting into the nitty-gritty. It'll be a little educational video on what that's all about. And of course, if you'd ever like to get a session with me, you can always follow the links below or go to integrativemysticism.com. So what is going on this week for you Cancer people? Well, we've got a pretty easy breezy week for the most part. You know, early on we've got the Sun moving into Aries, into your 10th house of career, bringing a lot of focus and a lot of supportive, invigorating energy into your finances, into your upward mobility, into all of your, whether you're job hunting, promotion hunting, whether you're trying to just simply advance your position or even promote yourself for your own business, which is great. And a lot of the weird shifts or just the active shifts that are going on this week aren't really happening until we get closer to the Thursday, Friday, Saturday realm. So, speaking of which, what's happening on those days? Well, on Thursday, and going into Friday, late Thursday into Friday, we've got Mercury, planet of communications, in this area, causing a lot of speed, a lot of haste, a lot of career development and growth, forming an opposition to Jupiter, currently retrograde in your 4th house of home and family. And this can create a bit of a tension between career and home life, career and family demands and family demands, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just kind of showing up where maybe the demands that are coming from work, what it's going to take to promote yourself or advance yourself, is going to require some alteration to the home front that we can't really do all at once. You know, maybe there's a situation that happens where we definitely can get this promotion, we definitely can get this new job or this raise, but it's going to require us to completely change what it means to go to this job or go to this new job. You know, is this going to ask for a move? Is this going to ask for more time spent away from home? Is this going to be something that works out with the rest of the family's schedule? It may actually be impractical to try and get all of this settled right away. Luckily, we don't have to. This conversation will come up again as we get a little bit closer to Jupiter direct in June, so what might seem impractical is still not impossible. We also have on Saturday Venus retrograde and the Sun coming into a tight conjunction in your career zone. And remember, Venus retrograde has been creating all kinds of insecurities, bringing all kinds of emotional weirdness, awkwardness, and complexes out in the people that we work with, whether they are collaborators, co-workers, peers, bosses, even clients and customers. You know, because when Venus is retrograde, people tend to get more emotional and a lot more emotionally needy, but they don't tend to want to know how to fix things. You ever had that kind of fight with somebody, that kind of argument with somebody where it's kind of like they want to complain, they have a serious, a grievance, they want to change, but they don't want to know how anything works? We're gonna have to deal with that anyway. Luckily, with this, with this Sun conjunct Venus, we have somebody stepping out of the way. Somebody who's not strong enough to handle all that while still being upset is getting out of your way and out of your work's way this weekend. So if you feel like somebody's been holding up the works, somebody maybe is not allowing a proposition or a proposal or a project to go through, they become a real time-consuming obstacle. Luckily, they are, we're going to clear that this week. So what's going on with your cards? Well, for your spiritual advice, we do have the card of the Queen of the Darkwood Elves. Okay, and this is a card that basically says you can't avoid what you know is coming, and this is actually because trying to avoid it, trying to put it off, is not in the best interest of all concerned. So when it comes to having difficult conversations in your life, okay, when it comes to confronting people, when it comes to, maybe getting a big project off the ground, when it comes to finally filing that paperwork or having, to make, to cut something out of your life, you may already know what it is, and this is a week where you really have to pay attention to where we might have been tap dancing around the issue, and again, putting something off for far too long. It may be wise to actually make the jump, take the leap of faith this week, because again, with the Queen of the Darkwood Elves, it's going to happen no matter what. Better it happen when you do it yourself, voluntarily, than have it happen at or to you. For your Earth sector, when it comes to your work and finances, we've got the Hierophant card upright. Lovely card when it comes to the professional sphere, because when we get the Hierophant card, we basically have the ear, the eye, and all the attention of somebody very important. And this could be somebody very influential, somebody who's kind of taking you under their wing. It may almost be like you're having an informal apprenticeship. And this could be instrumental in you actually landing work. Maybe a boss or a hiring manager has taken a special shine to you. If you are interviewing or you are trying to get into a new place of work, you may not even expect to work so closely with somebody in that much power of a position. But you will. And the nice thing about this is that you're probably going to actually make a better impression than you think. Also, when it comes to finances, again, the Hierophant card upright is kind of saying, if you are in a situation where you're trying to get clearance, you're trying to get the go-ahead, if you're trying to get somebody to change a rule, or again, get someone or something out of your way because it's been inhibiting you, a boss or an authority figure or just somebody with a lot of clout and power is basically going to make that move for you, probably making you look completely innocent in the whole matter, which can be helpful. For your communications with air, when it comes to your friends, your relatives, the others in your life, we have the Five of Wands upright. So a lot of folks would be competing for your attention this week, and I think a lot of you Cancer people might be feeling a bit, like you're spread a bit thin, because we have the Five of Wands upright. We have people not necessarily fighting with you, but they're kind of fighting over you. And that can also be a problem, because sometimes when people are fighting over you, they don't realize, like, you do have other priorities. Sometimes people don't like to be reminded that there are other people in the world, and that you do have to balance them with your other friends, your siblings, your kids, your lover, whoever. And the Five of Wands upright is saying it can get very crowded this week. You might be feeling a little bit drained, a little bit burnt out. I want you to take it easy on yourself. You don't have to please everybody. You don't have to allow everyone to come into your house and keep you up until 1 in the morning just because we're trying to fit everyone into a busy schedule. That being said, with the Five of Wands upright, there could be a fight going on, but it's not with you again. So, there might be some issues going on that we have to, break it up with 2 important people, possibly even more. For your challenge this week with fire, we have the Tower card upright. Now this card is definitely one of the bigger shakers, okay? It is the shaker, if anything else. A sudden alteration, ending, or culmination is going to be forced upon you. Alright, we've already seen that happen with this Queen of the Darkwood Elves. And, usually what this means is this is something, again, that should have been taken care of on its own. Something that should have been shifted a long time ago. And it's sort of being, it's not necessarily something that maybe it's something you wanted, but it's just coming too soon. It doesn't have to be a bad thing, but it's happening faster than you wanted it to nonetheless. Probably because we were going too slow or taking our time too much. And I always draw extra cards when I get this card because, it's a bit of a scary card. And we have the Six of Pentacles reversed as far as what it is. Okay, so we're talking about cutting somebody off or cutting something off. Okay, and again, this may come as you eventually cutting this person off, but you have put this off for far too long. Whether you're cutting somebody off financially, cutting somebody off socially, cutting somebody off, in any regard, professionally, because how it's going to make you feel is the Page of Swords upright. So you are the one doing it. You are making the Tower happen this week. And it almost seems like your hand has been forced. But then again, it wouldn't have been forced if we did it earlier. So you may already know what you're going to have to do. And you're just going to have to put up and do it. Okay? You're just going to have to man up and woman up and do it. For your emotions with water and your romantic life, we have the Ten of Cups upright. Beautiful card for love, because it's one of the best cards for love in the deck. Definitely in the top 2. And when we get the Ten of Cups, I always go into this feeling of the happily ever after kind of energy that comes from it, where everything just seems to sync up, and we kind of get back to what's really important. What's really important in a relationship, especially on an emotional and on a social level. And for those of you who are currently looking for love, you may find somebody who is absolutely compatible in terms of what you're looking for in your future, what you're both looking for, the same timeline, the same tastes, the same priorities, the same values. Because the Ten of Cups is saying there's sort of a similar background. Whether it's a similar family background, a similar relationship background, but this culture this person to be a lot like what you are looking for, and perhaps a lot more like you than you expect. For those of you who are currently coupled, the Ten of Cups upright says a graduation kind of moment is happening in your relationship. Again, getting back to what really matters. Whether we're cutting things off because it's been pulling us away from our partner, or pulling us away from our families, or with the Ten of Cups upright, it could be some of you, Cancer people out there, maybe even thinking about expanding on your family this week, or maybe we've been waiting for a partner or a spouse to give their 2 cents on whether or not they want to expand on the family, whether it's having another child or having another pet. Maybe we're trying to move into a new home. Jupiter in your 4th house is talking about bringing it back to family and planting roots and getting more out of the roots that we have there, and that is definitely what we see going on in your love life this week. So that is your forecast, Cancer. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. You know I appreciate it. And of course, if you'd like to get a session, you can always follow the links below, or go to integrativemysticism.com.